direction. Drop the clutch, pedal to the floor. Turn that giddy button to a lion's roar. Dream machine, racing queen, I'll take you wherever you wanna go. Let's slow this down, break the speed of sound. Tonight we own the road. Dream machine, racing queen, you make my heart beat. You make my heart beat. Dream machine, racing queen, you make my heart beat. You make my heart beat. Red on the highway, blue lights flashing behind me. Dream machine, racing queen, you make my heart beat. You make my heart beat. Dream machine, racing queen, you make my heart beat. You make my heart beat. Dream machine, racing queen, you make my heart beat. You make my heart beat. Red on the highway, blue lights flashing behind me. Dream machine, racing queen, you make my heart beat. You make my heart beat.
A very good evening to everyone. I'm Ryan Hill and I'm with you in the booth tonight with SimRace South Africa. We have a surprise stream tonight. Wasn't intending on streaming, but here we are. And we have a little ad hoc race tonight with a field of, I'm hoping for around, looks like 10 participants. So it looks like we have a full house on grid already. With the Volvo S40 BTCC cars around the Sachsenring. If you're not aware, the Sachsenring is a motorsports racing circuit located in Saxony, Germany. It's quite a popular track. It's still used currently today for a number of top motorsport events, including MotoGP, the Cyclar World Championships, DTM, the Deutsche Tourenwagen Championship, which is epic, by the way. Yeah, here we are racing the historic Volvo S40 BTCCs. Just a brief look at the track. You can see from what we have here. And I'm going to quickly have a look at this isn't really championship standings, but that's the stinger I have. It's essentially the sign-ups we have tonight. We've got Sas van der Westhuizen, Gideon Bernardi, Angelo Massotti, Greg Hofart, Mfezeko Nkulu, Brett Kirkham, Stian Engelbrecht, Roberto Carli, Pier Paolo Orselli, and Ryan Alfani from Canada rounding out the list tonight. We have a double header. Currently there's 5 minutes left of practice. The guys are just going to be getting their eye in, and then we'll go into a short quali, and then we have a race set up tonight. So essentially it's a sprint race, short 20 minutes shootout, and then what I'm very much looking forward to, we have the top 10, of which there are only looks like 10 drives exactly, coincidentally, will be reversed. So we have a reverse grid race for another 20-minute shootout. So that's bound to produce lots of action as we see guys battling, the faster guys battling away from the back of the track through the traffic, and ultimately trying to take top honors. This is all just for fun tonight, just a little ad hoc, not part of a formal championship or anything we run. We just occasionally like to have some fun with a random car track selection out there, and if you're looking to take part, you're very most welcome to come and join us. It's simracesa.co.za, and you'll find the Discord link on our website there as well. And yeah, feel free to suggest any track car combinations that you would like to see in future events. We're very much open to suggestions here as well. And I'm going to quickly hop on over to the main feed, and just while we watch the last few minutes of practice out, and get some sound going as well, these lovely S40 engines. We did a championship in the past with these cars that some may remember if you were with us at the time. I'm going to quickly go and look at my Hall of Fame link, actually, just to remind myself when we did these. I actually think it was part of the BTC series. It wasn't a single make series, but the Volvo did end up being one of the most popular cars on the grid. We ran it in 2021. It looks like at the time the championship was won by Ross Bartle, and I see his sister in chat. Hey Roxanne, how you doing? And second place went to Nick Hodson, third place Charles Wilkin, and the team championship honors that year went to Point Blank Heel and Toe, which was piloted by both Ross Bartle and Nick Hodson together. So here we are tonight with just the single make, the Volvo's S40s. They were the most popular at the time, and I'm very much looking forward to see how they get on. A couple of new names out on track as Greg Hobart has a big moment there, sliding out and about. We have, just to focus on some of the new names, we've got Mfezeko Nkulu in the pits. Nice to see a new name with us racing tonight. How's it, Francois, in chat? How are you doing? We've got Family Affair on track, Gideon Bernardi, so I'm sure Francois is shining out for him. We've got another new name, Roberto Carli, I think coming all the way from Italy, showing his flag there in the tower on the top left. You can see his comrade Pier Paolo Orselli as well, out on track. And all the drivers essentially going through some exciting warm-up laps at the moment. And I'm hoping a few of them managed to select some different liveries, but there may not have been too much variation with these Volvos. Unfortunately, if I recall now, it's coming back to me that there wasn't too much variation. So I'll have to do my best, just helping keep everyone informed about who's who on track. Here we see Dennis Gillett in the plain white livery. And another new name, Angelo Massotti, currently in pits. I'm sure he's going to be going out very soon. And Sas van der Westhuizen, not a new name whatsoever, putting his sighting laps in. Another new name I see is Stian Engelbrecht. So welcome Stian, good to have you out on track there. Looking good. Just under a minute left of this free practice. And then we'll be heading straight into qualifying. Qualifying tonight is going to be a 10-minute affair. And whilst that may sound long, being half the race distance, that 10-minute goes extremely quickly. You've got to find the right moment to put yourself out on track, into fresh air ideally. I don't think these cars are going to benefit too much from a draft as Stian goes wide there, just letting Sas van der Westhuizen through. And Kitty Litter goes spraying. We will be going to a quick ad break. Do not go anywhere. It's an epic little clip there, of course, showcasing the Renault Clios as we kick off our qualifying. But yeah, the Renault Clio, just the significance of that, we are starting a brand new season on SimRace South Africa with the Renault Clio 2023 spec car, and very much looking forward to that. We've just gone through a series of HLQ or hot lap qualifying, and there was actually another round of that earlier this evening. So we'll be collating those results and publishing them in the next few days to sort out the divisions, essentially. We've had a bumper turnout for that. I think something like almost 70 drivers, 66, 67, have signed up for the Renault Clio Cup. And obviously you can't put that too many Renault Clios on track at one time, so we're going to be splitting the drivers up into divisions based on where they fell with their lap times. Much like the cars right now out on track, the drivers, should I say, looking to put their best laps out on the field. You can keep an eye on the tower in the top left of your screen. You'll start seeing those lap times get clocked in. Purple is going to be the magic number for who currently holds the fastest lap. There'll also be sector times coming in. Greg Hofart currently putting out some purples, but of course these are largely out laps. And he is rounding the final corner now. Quickenberg curve, quite an iconic little turn up the hill, blind, and across the line as he starts his flying lap. And let's just stay with him and see if we can get a nice car camera for that situation as well. Should have, apologies for the flick-throughs, one of these cameras. Yeah, stick with that one. A mega curving. There's a little bit of a hairpin bend downhill. Tight left, right-hander. You can see he sticks it in second, third gear. And then there's a long sweeping left-hand over the Kleiner Cooper curves, curving. Kraftalen. And another little bit of a straight to hit the sector. Downshifts into fourth, keeps the speed up. And the Groper Curve. Nord Curve. Little bit of a kink. You can keep your foot flat for this one and then just sweep it through, Rolf. Another little bit of a straight. Up here, I think he reached about 220, 230 and 6 there. The Sachsenring curve is a tricky little corner. It's easy to run wide here at speed. I remember doing that and getting lap times invalidated. All the way down to second, and there's the blind corner for the final curve. And he goes across the line, set the benchmark 126.12, which has immediately been beaten by Brett Krockamp over the line, doing a 125.627. Currently holding, obviously, Sector 1 and 2 best as he pulls off and he's going to reset to pits. Just on board with Imfazeka as he goes across the line there in third position. A strong outing so far, 126.92. And that gap of just 1.3-ish seconds behind Greg Hofart. Should I say that's actually behind Brett Krockamp, I think is what that tower is indicating. 126.9 versus the 125.6 of Brett. Lap so far, he's on his out lap trying to put in another one now as we speak. Have a little look at Dennis Gillett here, and a quick shout out to Dan's Odyssey in chat. How are you doing? Evening. A little bit sideways slidey action there, drifting around the corner does Dennis Gillett. This is a little bit of an outlap as well. Maybe he's just intentionally trying to warm the tires up a little bit. Or just having some fun sliding it around. The TV camera chopper flying in the background there. There's a good amount of detail put into this track, the mod authors. And let's have a quick look at Stas van der Westhuizen as he just clocks the line at a 129.5. But I think that was possibly an outlap. Let's see if he manages to keep it a little bit unsidey there. Think through the automotive curves. I'm not sure he's going to be entirely happy with that. This very well may have been an arrive and drive. I'm guessing for pretty much all drivers on track. It's how it goes with these ad hocs, especially the guys taking part in our other championships, the GT3 on Assetto Corsa Competizione and the Renault Clio Cup that I mentioned earlier. I'm sure the guys would mostly have been focusing their laps and practice time on those. And yeah, most welcome to have an arrive and drive here. It won't be completely foreign to a lot of people on track, especially those that did participate in the old season back in 2021, where I'm pretty sure we actually had this track combination as well. There's a good chance drivers may have saved their setup configurations and so on as well. So it's just a matter of getting those laps under the belt and remembering what they're up to. Bits of flame there. Sass pulls down to, I think it was, didn't see if he kept it in third or actually down to second gear. Definitely keeping it in third now up the hill. I saw some other drivers dropping to second. And he goes across the line with a 127.2, which is good enough for fourth at the moment. The other interesting thing is that we can see the tire compounds that the drivers are out on. Brett Krockamp currently on the hard compound tire, setting the pace. And he's actually tucked in behind another driver here. It looks like Roberto Carli. I wonder if he's going to try and enjoy a little bit of a draft up the main straight. And then let's see what Roberto does. If he manages to yield, or Brett's just going to try and go up the inside anyway. And, a little bit of contact there. But manages to rub his way through. And I don't think it should have hurt his lap time too much if it was just this little side scrape. But yeah, Greg Hofart, by stark contrast to the hard compound tire, in position 2 right now is out on the soft tire. And let's see if he can get those switched on and what impact that may make to his lap times. And Fazeko is also out on softs. I see a bunch of people on the mediums. Sass, Gideon, Roberto, Dennis, Pier Paolo, and Angelo. The only other person aside from Brett Krookamp on the hard tire right now is Stian Engelbrecht, who is just chilling in the pits. So I'm sure he will be itching to get going again soon, because we have just 2.5 minutes left of quali, which is not a lot of time for teams to get their banker laps in, and there, as I say, so off he goes. He's got an outlamp, but that should give him enough time to do an outlamp and then get at least one flyer in to see if he can improve his time there. Let's jump around and see if I can see anyone very briefly who might be up on their delta. Brett Krookamp crosses the line again. Not improving there. 126.4 was best to 124.6. Where is Greg Hofart right now? He is rounding the final corner. But he looks like he's down his delta. In fact, that was an outlap at 228. So this is going to be possibly his last chance at a flying lap, and his last opportunity to see if he can knock Brett Krookamp off the pole position. My deltas aren't showing correctly for some reason. In fact, showing that he's got a lap time of 3 minutes 7 something, which is obviously incorrect. So not sure if that's just a niggly of the mod track or not, but the overall times when they get captured should be correct. We see someone else bailing out of the way there. On dash now with Greg Hofart. Let's see his top speed, what it tops out to. He should be reaching at least 220. He does comfortably 224. Sticks it in third for the Sachsenring curve and tries to keep it in. Feathers the throttle a little. I think there was a bit of a lift there. Fourth, third, second. You see jams it down at the second. Like what we saw, for instance, Sachsenring always bailed out of this lap. And perhaps he actually went wide there and the track and has spoiled his lap, I'm not sure. But meanwhile, for Zeko then, Mr. Nkulu, let's see if he has enough pace on him. I'm not sure what his delta is offhand. He is just rounding P34 now, the U-turns of Omega, or hairpin bend, should I say. Kleine Cooper is the long left-hander. And they're looking nice and pacey out here right now, as I see Sass actually just puts in a P3 bunker at the moment. We'll stick with Fazeko as he goes across here. Let's just check his top speed as well on the back straight. Looking for 224 to B2. He gets that 230, 233 before the slam down at the fourth. Carries the speed through nicely, feathers the throttle and keeps it in to not invalidate the lap. And let's see, he keeps it in third as well up the hill. Keeps the speed and momentum up. Very nice, looked very tidy. Can it improve his lap time? Ooh, and it doesn't. It keeps him in fourth. So there we go. Brett Krookamp is going to be taking pole position from Greg Hofart, and then Sass van der Westhuizen and Fazeko Nkulu are rounding out row 2 on your grid. We will be back in about 30 seconds with race 1. Alrighty, we are back and the grid is forming as we speak. I'll be getting ready to view the start of the race. As soon as I find a good camera for this. Come on, camera. Actually curious as to what's going on with the formation here. Seeing Zico reporting in P1, which is interesting. 10 seconds left on track. On the clock, rather. Oh no, that's the tower. The tower's wrong. So Brett is correctly in P1. So we will watch him. The 6 lights are on, and they're about to go off for the start of the race. There we go. The tower should hopefully shuffle itself right. Brett is in the white Volvo, leading the front of the pack. And it looks like he's trying to get the inside line to run defensive, and he manages to block out Infosico. There's a little bit of argy-bargy, and I think it looks like Dennis Gillett manages to keep it going in the right direction, but has hit the grass a little. But for the time being, Brett is out in front. Infosico is in second, Sass in third position. We'll just go on board right now with P3. That's Sass van der Westhuizen. And let's see what he can do to put the pressure on Nkulu up front, whilst defending from Roberto Carli, who you'll occasionally see in that right-hand mirror. Nkulu goes a little bit wide. He had a little bit of a tank slapper, and that's allowed Sass to catch up and around the outside. And I think he had to back out of it a little bit. Nkulu's run wide, very wide, so I think Sass is going to come back on the attack, and this is a long straight, and if he's managed to be tucked up behind enough, there could be a potential move on here. But we know Nkulu was quite strong through these final corners, and I think was able to carry a lot more speed than what I saw Sass doing in practice and quali. So he might be safe for the time being. I did see Nkulu go wide at the second to last corner there, which may or may not have given him a penalty. Oh, there's a massive crash in the background. And it looks like Greg Hofart has collected Stian Engelbrecht, who is spinning and manages to correct that car, and a couple of others in the background. It looks like, unfortunately, maybe Greg Hofart also came up very much the worst there, I think, and fell a number of positions down. We can see Greg actually had the fastest Sector 2 time on the clock, currently at 17.7, extremely pacey through there. But yeah, he is now on a recovery drive to see how far he can capture. Worst case scenario, if he ends in P10, he'll be starting in P1 for the reverse grid race in just 17 minutes time, as the red chopper in the foreground there captures a lot of the action for us. Back up the pack now. I'm going to have a look at Stian Engelbrecht, who's just reportedly passed Dennis Gillett for P7. And I think there may have been an issue there, because Dennis Gillett has fallen way back. As you go down the back straight, he'll look onto the back of Stian. He's coming very hot there, and it's going to run quite wide, probably even dipping some wheels off there into the kitty litter. And that's going to bleed off some time and put him at risk of Angelo Massotti behind him. In fact, that is also Greg Hofart making a move. He's now side by side. It's a drag race up the line. And in fact, Greg Hofart's already passed. So Greg immediately catching up a position there and on his way back up the field. We hop back up to P3 now. A 2-second gap for P3 to P2 of Sass van der Westhuizen. We know Nkulu is quick from what we saw in qualifying. So he's just going to want to try and bank some nice, clean, consistent laps now and close that gap to Sass van der Westhuizen. We'll keep and look, someone's off. I think that is Sass. Sass himself has made a mistake and gone off on his own, and that is given a free pass to Mfezeko Nkulu. And he will look now to close that gap which is a large gap, to Brett Kirkhamp, who's opened up almost 8 seconds. He is just scampering away, Brett, on his own. And a little bit wide on the exit there, but looks like the track stewards are happy with that one. We'll hop back to Roberto Carli, who is now trying to chase down Sas van der Westhuizen. And just a second down right now. Nice and tight around automotive curves. And we see, Sas is sparking or bottoming out there and running quite wide, but Roberto's gone wide and done a little bit of a wobbly himself. So unable to capitalize on that mistake from Sas. Going back down to Angelo right now, who's all over the back of Dennis Gillett, trying to put the pressure on for a move. We'll keep an eye on Angelo's best lap is a 134.023, and Dennis Gillett ahead of him, his best is only a 135.79, so if Angelo can keep some nice consistent laps, he should be able to close the gap and start challenging for P8 here. Meanwhile, fellow Italian Roberto Carli back up in P4. And we did see a couple of cars ahead of him. That's just the back of Sas van der Westhuizen. So you can see here the gap closing in. So, analyzing these laps here. Oh, Roberto has a massive tank slapper. Manages to hold it together, pointing in the right direction. But again, that lack of consistency is going to hurt his race if he wants to try and find a podium here in race 1. So, lap analysis, that all over the back of Nkulu. Sas's last lap, a 126.72H, which coincidentally was his best. And conversely, Nkulu, his last was 127.5, a little bit scrappy, and Sas is all over the back of him now as we head towards these back straights. Is Sas close enough to make a move into the second to last corner? I don't think he is. He's probably just going to try and stay as tucked in and close as possible. Often enough, if you just stay behind the other car... Ooh, Sas runs quite wide there. And I was wondering if he had a slowdown penalty, but he's still going. If he can manage to stay nice and close to Nkulu and just bide his time, often you can force a mistake out of the other driver. And as I say that, Nkulu has a massive drift around Automotive and Curvins into Omega there. Oh, Sas clipping quite a lot of grass. Both of these drivers having a little bit of a scrap of some untidy laps, but that gap is still close. It's under a second. In fact, it's under half a second, 0.3. And oh, Nkulu runs a little bit, cuts the inside. I'm not really running wide, I should say. That is going to put himself into further pressure. These are some fast corners here as well. And you can see Nkulu running defensive there on the inside line, but as a result compromises himself on the following corner and runs wide. But Sas is not close enough to capitalize on that yet. I reckon if Sas is able to just run his clean lines and stay close enough to Nkulu, keep the pressure on, the move will happen. An opportunity will open. We're going to quickly hop down to Gideon Benani, who is all over the back of Roberto Carli. Also very close, Craig Hofart, who was in P10 after that spin, is already up to P6, so he is charging through the field. And as we say that, this is the move. He was Podium Winners attacking Roberto Carli, but now all of a sudden he's actually just defending against Greg Hofart. And Greg's going for the inside. Oh, we had a little look, but he's tucked in back behind. Let's get a little bit of a wider shot here and just focus on Greg for the car behind. And I am just quickly hopping back to Sas van der Vestes, and as we've been speaking, has managed to get past Nkulu, who is currently running wide, and there is Sas way forward in the foreground, so hopefully there was no contact there between the two drivers, but I'm guessing otherwise then, yeah, Nkulu's made a little bit of a mistake, which has allowed Sas to capitalize and get past. But back down to this battle for P5 right now. Greg Hofart all over the back of Gideon Bernardi. We're going to go on board as he pulls to the left, tries to keep it in. There's probably going to be a little bit of an argy-bargy, and I think as a result, Gideon Bernardi has unfortunately been taken out there. Greg has kept going, so potentially just not feeling he was to blame for that one. Potentially just a bit of a racing incident. But unfortunately that scrap has come to an end in that particular manner. Meanwhile, Roberto Carli is now leading a little bit of a quiet race up in fourth right now. We're going to quickly head over to Pier Paolo Orselli in P10. If he holds this position, he's going to have pole position for race 2, which is going to be quite interesting. And I'm sure he's nervously excited about that as he runs a little bit wide down the second to last corner there. It's so easy to do actually with that particular corner. If you carry too much speed, you need to feather that throttle and balance. And he is actually caught up now. This is a battle for P9 to the back of Angelo Massotti. And I think there is a potential challenge coming here very soon. So we go on board and just see what can develop out of this. Trying to see if he can poke his nose in there. Not enough of a door opening. Up and over the hill, manages to keep it in, and we're onto the back straight now. But yeah, not close enough at this particular point to make a move. Running quite wide there at the second to last. That's going to lose him some time advantage to Angelo Massotti up front. Still out in front, Brett Kirkham. Also just to reflect, he has taken the hard tire. Oh, he has a little bit of a drift. I'm not sure if that was intentional or not, but I'm sure he was having fun regardless. Catching that slide and holding it through. I'm not sure what that's going to be doing to his hard tires. Being a relatively short race, it probably won't impact it too much. Maybe generate a little bit of extra heat. Sure, with just 7 minutes left in the race, it's nothing really to stress about for him. And he leads Sas van der Westhuizen by a country mile, 13.7 seconds. Sas back is also on the hard tire. And still doing nice, clean, consistent laps. His best of 126.3, his last of 126.4. Lovely sound of these Volvo exhausts too. Banging on the throttle release. Good corners there by Sas, managing to keep his delta up. Infosec Nkulu, meanwhile, in P3, he is out on the medium tire. And I think also just looking to take it home in these last couple of laps. without losing that podium position honours. And for who might be challenging him for that, Roberto Carli is quite a way down the track as well. E3 side. Ooh, I was about to say he's running a little bit wide there, which may put him under pressure from Greg Hofbart if anyone is going to be trying to charge up the way here. Greg should be able to do it. Go back onto the dash cam for Greg as he rounds the last corner heading up the main straight. That was actually one of his best laps, the best lap of his race so far, 126.45. And did very well in sector 1 actually, 46.1 his PB there. And we'll see if he can close this gap now to P4. Keeping it nice and tight around these hairpin bends. Lost quite a bit of time there, did Greg. Subtle mistakes, almost a second down. And almost put him at risk now of being caught by Roberto Carli. Dives through session curve. On board now with Roberto Carli as we see up the hill. Greg maybe just turning to the left either to break the toe a little bit or just setting himself up early for T1 here. Hugging that inside line, not opening any doors. Though there's a door somewhat open, but Roberto Carli not able to get in there. Very difficult to balance these cars on the throttle and keep the momentum up, which is what it's all about really. Not bleed off too much speed, too much slip angle. Oh, clipping the grass there, that's not really going to help matters. He has to fight with the wheel to get it back in line. Clips that corner nicely though, maintains the speed flat. Over the hill, oh, and Greg's run wide into the kitty litter, and he has surrendered P4 as a result. A freebie to Roberto Carli. Greg gets going again, no doubt kicking himself for that little mistake. Just 2 minutes 19 left in this race. We're coming up on the final laps. Brett, meanwhile, pumping in the fast lap times, 125 dead. Let's have a curious look at Brett's top speed here at the bottom of the hill. We saw some reaching 234, 236 he manages to reach over there. Good setup. There's a puff of smoke ahead. This is a blue flag of Theon Engelbrecht coming up. And provided he is aware of Brett being here, he's not really going to form much of a challenge anyway, I think, because he did have a little bit of a moment on the last corner there. So he wouldn't have had the momentum up the hill. Brett is able to easily sail by without compromising his lap time. May have even enjoyed a little bit of a draft. That's meanwhile in P2 comfortably now. Looking over the rear spoiler towards that back marker of Orselli. The closest battle on track right now for P8, Angelo Mussotti in P9, just going through onto the back straight. Oh, and he's made a big mistake there and clapped the wall. And that is going to dash all of his hopes of gaining another position now in the final laps. The leader is now on the final lap. And P1, I think if he is stopping, he's actually seen the checkered flag. So we will give Brett Krocamp the honors of taking race 1, P1. Sas van der Westhuizen crosses the line now for P2. And into Seko Nkulu, debut for simRace South Africa, crosses the line, taking out P3 to head that podium. Now, do not go anywhere. We have a reverse grid race coming out where the top 10 drivers, which is essentially the whole field tonight, coincidentally, is going to be reversed. We will have that in a short 2 minutes time. Alright, we are back, and we are just waiting for race 1 still to tick over. Hopefully it does so soon, so we can get cracking with race 2 for this evening. I'm just going to check. Everyone seems to be in the pits. Maybe just need to wait out some sort of internal timer on the server side, just that we can tick over. Hopefully it isn't too long, so stay with us, ladies and gents. Right, here we go. For a second there, it looked like it may have switched over to 2 times rate. There we go, finally the grid is forming, and we are about to have a second reverse grid. Apologies for the wait, ladies and gentlemen. I'll see if I can get that wait time reduced for next time. And here we go, we have in 30 seconds time a reverse grid race now. Top 10 have been reversed from race 1. So starting on pole position, we have Angelo Massotti, Ian Engelbrecht in P2, Greg Hofbart P3, Pier Paolo Orselli. And the lights are on. About to come on, shall I say. We shall see 6 reds, and then they will go off and we'll be racing. Hopefully not too much. We see lights flashing in the background, 6 lights are on. Off we go. A little bit of a slow start there by Angeli on the outside, and he's going to get absolutely swarmed. Pier Paolo Orselli, meanwhile, has taken provisional pole. Kylian Bernardi is now in P1, taking up that inside line, and I think he's taking P1 through this, and then that on his tail, Dennis Killitz, white Volvo, is sneaking through. Roberto Carli, meanwhile, has managed to settle into P3 around these starting curves. There's still a lot of side-by-side action. So we'll try and zoom out a little bit further down the grid. Greg Hofbart settling in P5 right now, challenging. And Brett, who started in P10, is already up to P6. So must have had a cracking start. It looks like everyone's generally got going pretty well. A little bit down the field here, Sas van der Vestes in P8. exhaust sparking, and we have someone up, and there's going to be some collisions and some collections, and looks like Steen Engelbrecht, Brett Krukamp is in that mix as well, and Sas van der Vestes, and all managed to get collected in that incident. And some more recovery drives on the way here then as Brett Krukamp manages to get going. Obviously the favorite here to win in the second race for the evening, but he has some work to do. And to pedal his car up from P7 all the way to P1 right now. Intervals and gaps are all under a sub-second right now, up and down the field. I'm going to go look over the flying first lap of Roberto Carli in P3 right now, challenging Dennis Killett ahead. See, taking a nice tight line there compared to Dennis and Gideon ahead of him. Oh, there's a contact, and P2 has gone into the back of P1 and spun around. Unfortunately, goes Dennis Killett. He manages to collect an ADAC signboard as well, and hopefully isn't stuck as, yeah, he manages to get rolling. And fortunately has lost a host of positions there. Off he goes. Meanwhile, that's Gideon Bernardi out in front. P1 leading the charge. Behind him, looking over the rear wing, we see Roberto Carli in P2 coming over the hill. Ooh, Gideon running quite wide there. Into Rolf onto the back straight now, and that is going to allow Roberto to close all the way up. And oh, Gideon's dipped a wheel in the sand. You could hear it on the camera, and that's allowed Roberto to go and take the leads. They're side by side entering the final corner. Quickenberg up the hill. Oh, that was so close. Onto the bumper there, and it's pretty much a drag race between these three up the hill. And Greg Hofart in the mix here as well. Just to see what he can do. This is incredibly close. There must be so much contact, threat, but somehow they all manages to get through. There's a car on the hand side here. I must just head back to the TV cameras here. Gideon Bernardi in P2 is in a sandwich right now between Roberto Carli up front and Greg Hofart's pressure from behind. And let's go on board with Greg Hofart in P3, just looking ahead now as he tries to attack P2 and P1. Closing up nicely there. Oviedo has a little bit of a wobble and had to lift to correct, and that's allowed Gideon to get away again. I'm going to jump back down to Brett Krukamp, who's on the back of P4 of Angelo Massotti. And oh, that is running so wide and so close, sorry, but there was no contact. I think Angelo just manages to swing it out wide. He's going to have the inside line, but Brett sweeps around in time to make that overtake, and I think stick indeed. Both drivers managing to keep it nice and tidy inside the lines there. And rounding the final corner of Quickenberg Curve, and that's another position in the back for Brett as he now has the podium staring at him in the face of Greg Hofart, but it is 12.5 seconds up the road. That is going to require some deep dives, or literally perhaps, not so much figuratively. Just digging deep rather to get some nice consistent hot laps and clean laps to close that gap to Greg Hofart in P3 currently. And obviously, of course, these drivers, provided they don't make any mistakes themselves, the current top 3 positions, if they're close to each other as well, battling each other, are going to lose some time, and that'll allow Brett Krukamp to come back into contention. Brett, meanwhile, has opted to stay on the hard tyre. Did work well for him, obviously, in the last race. The 3 drivers ahead of him are all on different compounds, softer compounds. Greg Hofart and Roberto Carli both being on medium. Gideon Bernardi being out there on the soft tyre. And let's hope for his sake they're not going to be overheating and feeling too tortured by 10 to 12 minutes time in the closing stages of this race. quickly jumping back down to Dennis Gillett, who is side by side and just passes Mfuzeko Nkulu, I believe. Yeah. Mfuzeko is going to look to come back at him here, but see if he can maintain. We do know, ooh, there's a little bit of a slidey action there. It's not going to allow him to close up right now. It's aggressive downshifting there into second. Feathering that throttle in third, keeping it nice and tidy, these lines here. Inside, not running too wide. Trying to get early on the power up here for their mega curves. Ooh, and a bit of a shunt there. I'm not sure if intentional, but he is managing to increase his delta quite significantly. 0.64 climbing positively. So on a good lap here, Nkulu. We'll keep an eye on that leaderboard right now with the gaps. Brad Kirkham, meanwhile, P4 has caught up to the back of Greg Hofart a lot quicker than I thought he would. Perhaps that's a result of Greg falling behind, perhaps also having made a little mistake or two. As Brett goes sliding through T1. I'm sure he's having a barrel of fun out there today. Just maintaining some silence so we can appreciate and compare the style between these two drivers, the similarities, the differences, what Brett's lines are able to do versus Greg's. Braking points now coming up to the second to last Sachsenring. Maintains a good amount of speed through here. No doubt, I'm sure. Closing that gap to Greg Hofart in front. We'll have a look here as Brett crosses the line, posting 125.2 versus Greg's 125.4 on that last lap. Just 0.1, 0.2 of a second faster per lap, and he's literally going to be on the bumper looking for that move at any one time. Menacing in the mirrors there, Brett looks just all over the nerves of steel by Greg, I'm sure. He was being almost pushed along by Brett as we see him up on his best lap by 0.3. Lost a little bit of time here though. Is the pressure getting to him? There's a good passing opportunity now on the back straight. And also coming up to a little bit of traffic, these guys. But that is all for the lead of this race. So this train of faster drivers has now caught the slower drivers that had started the race up front due to the reverse grid, and I'm sure we're about to see a gaggle of fastness. Greg meanwhile trying to navigate Gideon Bernardi safely whilst not letting Brett Kirkham sneak through. He does though. It's a very interesting dynamic, being a slightly slower driver here, but it's not under blue flag conditions. He's full rights to be there. Oh, and it has a little bit of a moment, and through goes Brett Kirkham, stealing P3. Now Brett is charging down Kylian Bernardi. Look at how tight these three are here. Something's got to give. Ooh, Gideon doing well to hang on here, but I think, oh, there's a big slide by Brett. I was about to say there's an opportunity for passing here, but Brett would have needed to catch that slide and just rein it in. Gideon doing an excellent job here of keeping Brett behind. Another passing opportunity now into the final corner. And who can have the better run up the hill? Oh, hopefully there wasn't contact there. It looked like Brett managed just to keep it in check and back off a little bit. And that's going to put him under huge pressure from Greg Hope up behind, who's a drag race up the hill now to T1. And outside of any sort of dive attempt into that sandwich. And let's see if I can go on board here now with people. Greg Hobart just looking onto this battle ahead of us with Brett Krugkamp and Kylian Bernardi. Greg, I'm sure, just wants to stay in the mix and see if he can capitalize on any sort of mistakes or passing opportunities that may happen that ultimately I think is going to be set up by Brett here, as he's looking very aggressive here, trying to unsettle Kylian Bernardi, who still continues to make an excellent job of defending, holding off Brett, who's wings out wide. No doubt, I'm sure, trying to unsettle. Ooh, once that contact, he's gone for a bit of a tank slapper, and that's going to allow Greg to sail past. Or does he? He manages to stay ahead somehow. Brett manages to keep enough momentum in that car to retain that position. Excellent battles on track here. Very entertaining to watch. Now onto the bonnet cam. Greg Hopart looking to take another stab out of Brett Krugkamp. They accelerate towards P1, reaching speeds of about 212 before needing to pile on the brakes down into second. Hard braking for this corner. Yeah, those carbon ceramic brakes wheeling away. Excellent sounding car, this one. Feathering the throttle through Omega, Carthalon. And ahead we could see Brett again challenging Gideon right on his bumper. Three of these guys just neck and neck still. Still Gideon able to make a good defense, but there's a passing opportunity now up the inside. Sadly, oh, there's some contact. About to say that Gideon was making those soft tires work. And ultimately, they have now just let go and Brett sails through. Where's Greg, however? He is challenging Kylian Bernardi, who's on the defensive on the inside line here, trying to not lose yet another position. And Greg on the medium tires, Kylian on the softs. Oh, and Greg goes wide. Throws up a lot of sand, but manages to keep going, paints some rubber down, and I think now has Sas van der Veersteden a couple of seconds behind him. Closed that gap ever so slightly. The back of that Volvo looking a little scratched, and we have someone in white is off. It's Brett. Brett is off. What on earth happened to Brett? He is in the wall and seems to be stuck in third gear. Something gone catastrophically wrong with the rig, with the hardware. But this looks like an impending DNF, and this is so sad. He was on for a strong podium, if not a race win. And I'm afraid that looks like it's looking pretty terminal. Unfortunately, we didn't catch what went wrong there. I just saw the car off track in the foreground. And anyway, Roberto Carli, haven't mentioned him in a while. Hanging on to P1 here, doing an excellent job. The Italian. He is a comfy 6.3 seconds behind Gideon Bernardi now. He maintains second position out on those softs, stretching them almost a full 20 minutes so far. Stellar job, stellar defense from him tonight as well. And just to compare lap times here, Gideon's last lap of 128.19, it was a little bit slow, his best of 127.5. We want to see if those tires are falling off the cliff yet or not. Compared to Roberto Carli, who is doing some quick laps, 125.5 his best, 126.4. So I don't think he's at risk at this point of being caught by Gideon. He's doing slightly slower laps, and also no doubt I'm sure those soft tires are reaching end of life if they have not already. And this is going to be quite interesting now, this battle ultimately battle for P2, I think, between these three drivers, Gideon Bernardi, Greg Hoffaert and Sas van der Vesthuizen, who is sliding through. We're going to go on board with Sas for a while and just see how this battle develops between these three drivers. As we saw up into the final corner there, Greg was having a little look up the inside of Gideon Bernardi. And all three of these guys diving down into P1. We go onto the bottom cam this time for Sas. See how close he can get up the rear trumpet of Greg. Oh, so close. Almost makes contact. Manages to swing it out left in time. And under big pressure here. This is a very interesting battle as well. All three drivers are on three different tire compounds. Sas on the hards, Greg on the medium, Gideon on the softs. Who can make them work the best? Still Gideon Bernardi making an excellent job with these softs defending. Thought they would have fallen off the cliff long ago, but he is making them work, stretching them to their absolute limit. Defending the inside line there, and Greg tucks in behind, trying ever so slightly to get that drop, but gets it wrong and runs wide, and that's going to allow Sas to sail past. And does he have a momentum to throw onto Gideon Bernardi now? We go back onto the Bono cam and just have a look through the session curve. Can he keep it? Oh, there's contact, minor contact, both drivers able to keep it going. And Gideon on the inside now, defense, and it's brought all three drivers back into contention. It's going to be yet another drag race up the hill for these three drivers. We're going on board here with Greg Hoffaert. It's a drag race side by side. That's Sas van der Vesthuizen on his right hand side. He's going to take the inside line, tucked in though. He's got nowhere to go. He was sandwiched and was just boxed in there by Gideon Bernardi, who had run defensive. But that's ultimately just going to mean all three drivers are going to retain the places exactly where they were. Fantastic racing here between these three. And another shout out in chat. How's it to Samuel Rubio? It's good to say hello. How are you doing? And we have 6 seconds left in this race. Roberto Carli is going to take P1 easy peasy. You can see in your track map in the bottom left hand side of your screen that red arrow of number 1 car is passing the second to last corner now, and the clock has already reached 0. So this is essentially the final laps. T1 Roberto, there's a bit of a look and a bit of a dive. It's a desperation move. Greg Hoffaert up the inside of Gideon Bernardi, and Sas van der Vesthuizen is all right there. Who is going to take honors here in P2, 3 and 4? Right now it looks like Greg Hoffaert has managed to sneak past Gideon for P2 and across the line. And who got third? I'm trying to figure out who got third. Was it Gideon? Was it Sas? So difficult with all these liveries looking identical. And the timing tower is unfortunately going to be higgledy-wide. Drivers disconnect and obviously do their cool-down laps in a different order. We're going to have to go and look at the replay for that one, gents and ladies, offline, just to confirm top honors there. But what a finish for us these three drivers did, absolutely. And Gideon, he did so well to hang on there for P2 for what seemed like an eternity, and I'm really hoping he manages to at least save P3 just to be deserving of all of that. But there's a very good chance now that Sass van der Westhuizen did sneak it through. But we'll have to review that offline and just post the results on our Discord server. Speaking of our Discord server, I'm going to paste a link in chat for anyone new or interested. It's simply simracesa.co.za/discord. That is going to take you to our official Discord link. One-click link. And that will redirect you to our official Discord invite link, which I will call East in the chat as well. Alright, gents and ladies, thank you very much for joining me this evening. It was excellent to have you. This was a great race to watch. I really enjoyed it myself, and we look forward to seeing you all around for the next one. We are up into our GT3. We are officially starting our championship with round 1 at Watkins Glen on Monday night. I should be there, help willing, on Monday evening to take you through for commentary. For now, that's me, Ryan Hill, signing off. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining. Ciao, ciao.